I am proud to be an Australian at the moment. A lot of the YouTube channels I'm watching are saying Australians know how to handle soft sits.
Yeah.
Nobody's messing around and talking to people for 20 minutes.
No, we just break into their cars.
How to handle what?
Hey, I'm travelling, not driving. Get the fuck out of the car. Break window, you're arrested.
Oh,
that's how it's done.
Sov. I get it. Yeah.
Luke's so in with them now. He's got a funny little pet name for him.
Slang.
Welcome to Multiple Nerdgasm with your hosts, Matt, Luke, and Dan. Multiple Nerdgasm, your guide to all things nerdy.
So I've been following them for many years.
You have been, and I've withheld following this up until recently, and of course it was because there was a couple of soft sits up in Queensland, I think, or northern New South Wales.
There's one Coffs Harbour. There's been a sort of a lot of them in Australia
this week,
recently.
and they were filming the cop that pulled them over, and of course he pulled them over because they were just refusing to display license plates because they didn't think they had to. So they weren't actually breaking any additional laws other than just being a smart ass on purpose, knowing they'd get pulled over for it. And then when he said, "Show us your license," they said, "We don't have to," and he said, "You do have to." And they said, "We're not citizens of this country." And he said, "I don't care. Even non-citizens have to comply with the laws."
That's an argument I've always loved.
Yeah.
They bring in a lot of them.
Where are they citizens of?
Nowhere. They're not citizens.
There's free man of the land, indigenous of the land. Yeah,
right.
There's a few things to say, but
yeah, some people have legally changed their name to Free Man. I've noticed.
I think Ryan Reynolds did that.
I did that's right. I did a
movie.
deep
We'll talk
dive
more
after
about
this.
him later.
To finish the story, the cop then asked them to open the door, and they said no. So he literally pulled the window out of their car
with his hands.
Yeah.
The funny thing, even about that stop, because I remember this one, is they were saying like, "Why are you stopping?" The reason why they were also stopped is she had warrants and was being arrested for that. It wasn't just a traffic stop. But for them to go, "We've done nothing wrong," you have warrants.
But isn't the whole point of these people that they misinterpret American laws?
Yeah, so that's the other thing, right? No, it doesn't. You're absolutely right.
Queensland, Australia.
You're absolutely right. So that's the thing. And also, I did a deep dive on this the other night until about 1 a.m, where I finally decided, no, they're just wrong. Because
you shouldn't. This will make you angry.
With all conspiracy theorists and fringe theorists, and I lump these guys in with those, there's always a point where I go, okay, well, where is this coming from? Like, where is this strange idea coming from? Because there's no smoke without fire, right? So the 9/11 conspiracy theorists, I don't agree with you, but I can understand why. There's a lot of weird evidence, and don't get me started on JFK, right?
I mean, JFK and that are kind of like the least of the weird, because I guess you go, oh, all right, I guess.
Yeah.
If you want to be weird about it, you can.
But as you said, Matt, and as Luke explained to us in the past, they've misunderstood one line in an old law book that talks about, well, there's a couple of lines. There's this whole travelling, not driving thing. There's the unobstructed travel across state lines, which, again, doesn't apply in Australia. Completely different laws to Americans. You can't just go on YouTube and assume that anything that you hear from a YouTuber applies to us as well.
What?
But also, there's a line, something about being employed within the vehicle, right? Employing a vehicle.
Yeah, so they think a driver means someone who's employed in commerce.
Yeah. So the word employ
you're a taxi driver,
is used
truck
here.
driver.
Like you could, if you need to unscrew, I don't know, anything, a screw, you could employ a screwdriver, or if you didn't have one, you could employ a butter knife. Doesn't mean you're paying that. Doesn't mean you're engaging in commerce with that butter knife.
Right. Sure.
So that's where the word comes from. That's where the misunderstanding is. And then you've got all these people, and I watched, Luke, you must have seen these, and I'm sure I've watched the same ones that you've seen. Just people that will just stand there, and these videos go for 30, 40 minutes, just arguing, sometimes very politely, with the police just saying, I don't respect your authority. And the police saying, you don't have to, but
no,
you have to do what I fucking say.
Right.
And that's why... Yeah, that's why I love, like, the Australian ones, it's like a very short conversation. Like, are you going to do it? Yes, no.
I will drag you out of this car.
Here because they do have... They can do less here. Like, for example, like, if I get pulled over, I don't have to say anything. I don't have to do anything.
Sure.
It's probably going to be a problem for me if I don't,
There are a couple of things you have to do.
Yeah, I got to hand over my license and registration. But I don't have to put the window all the way down. I've seen videos about that, but it's like, just fucking do it.
Just do it. Like, you're turning, especially if you've done absolutely nothing wrong.
And
30 seconds out of your day.
I'm a white guy who, it's a whole different kettle of fish in other
they're all
circumstances.
white, Matt. They're all white.
No, a lot of the sovereign citizens, the ones that are doing these arguing.
What I'm saying is, like, in certain circumstances, if you were, a minority or something, maybe you wouldn't feel safe. I completely understand that. Doesn't apply to me, though.
Yeah.
Like, here...
Whole other story, though, Matt. Whole other story.
Yeah, exactly. So...
Yeah.
But again, if I was in Australia... It doesn't work like that.
No,
you just have to do what the cops say.
But hold on.
America.
But not in America as well. These people are saying, I'm not an American citizen. Now, they are, but that's beside the point. They're saying, I'm not an American citizen. I'm a citizen only to myself. But if I'm a French citizen or a Pakistani citizen or anywhere else and I go to America, I have to apply to the American laws. Surely.
Yeah,
Surely
they
that's
don't
a thing.
understand. They don't get that. They just... don't understand. I don't consent.
Now, the thing is, I was thinking about how this could potentially apply in Australia. And I remember somebody telling me once, I think it was Carl, I'm sure he won't mind us saying his name, who was a cop, right? And he still works as a police prosecutor. But I think he was saying that there are some technical laws that you just wouldn't ever get arrested on, that are just leftovers from bygone days. Like, for example...
Oh, yeah, I think you need to walk down if you're driving at night, you need someone walk in front of you
with a lantern type of stuff. Right, exactly, right? So, I could have read that, and I could have been like, fuck you, I'm going to walk down the M4 with a fucking torch in front of my car, and I dare you to fucking come and arrest me for it. But why would I? Like, what do I gain from that? And I don't understand what these people gain from it, because not only... You will get arrested... You are resisting arrest as well, and you're just going to make it worse just to make a point that you're incorrect. I don't understand.
No, unfortunately, a lot of these people believe it, and a lot of the misinformation is around lower socio-economical areas. And it's actually, and this is why I've said before, like, to me, people should be considering this a type of psyop, because the people who are falling into this are getting themselves arrested, getting themselves into more debt, and it's just, you're actually forcing yourself down more than trying to lift yourself up.
Yeah, it's almost like that.
You just blew my fucking mind, Luke.
It's like that.
I'm not saying it is a psyop, but you could see it that way.
That thing with conspiracy theories where it's like, it feels good to think you've got some secret knowledge that no one else knows.
Is that what it is? Is that the appeal?
I mean, I've heard that that's a thing where it's like I know something nobody else knows, and I'm special. Right? I'm not just some average idiot. I'm special. I know something that these idiots don't know. That's there's a lot of
getting one over on them.
There's a lot of it going around.
I think it's fine with stuff that doesn't hurt, like people going out and saying like flat Earth or stuff like that. Like, it doesn't really hurt, but when you start getting to this, where you're getting arrested and getting fines, it's getting dangerous. That's why sovereign citizens are declared terrorists. Domestic terrorists.
Yeah. And same with some of the pandemic stuff that was going on to varying degrees. But I think it's all much of a muchness is that, like, no, I'm not going to be one of the sheep. I'm going to do my own research by listening to someone else tell me something.
Oh, that's what I've always loved. Do your own research. Oh, where do you do that? Well, YouTube. I listen to this person on YouTube. They tell me this.
Podcasts.
But you do your own research.
Podcast. Oh, who's on the podcast? Is he a virologist? Well, no.
That's right. If you think, by the way, listeners, if anyone's listening to this particular podcast for research, stop now. Because
we don't do that.
Or listen to me.
Just listen to Luke.
I know stuff.
Well, only because Luke's hedging his bets. He's not going to say anything if he's not sure. Dan and I might accidentally
that's right. Yeah,
tell you a falsehood.
Yeah, something that you can hold us to later. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've had to delete whole episodes of this podcast so that we can avoid libels.
We've had to pull one down because of Luke, I'll remind you. So he's not blameless. Yeah, he's not blameless.
We got some legal advice that we should take that one down immediately.
Because of something you said, not Dan or I.
Yeah. So in conclusion, I really did wanted to find a spark of truth in this, but it really isn't. It's just it's people misunderstanding.
Look, it's misunderstanding. I've even watched debates and stuff, and what you'll see is people will read one line and go, that's what it says. And it's sort of like, no, if you finish that sentence, it actually says it all. But they're looking for stuff that suits their narrative.
My favourite is when they keep saying, show me in the American Constitution where it says I can't drive here. And it's like, clearly it's not going to mention that in the Constitution. What it does mention is that the states are allowed to make their own laws.
Yeah, just because it's not in that document doesn't mean you don't have to do it, mate.
The 10th Amendment.
What's the 10th? That states can make their own laws.
The states can make their own laws.
Right.
Yeah, that's the one they will always skip over that one.
See, how the fuck is Luke know?
I know, man.
Because I've been researching sovereign citizens and Moors for years. Because
we joke about how Luke's going to become a lawyer, but he's going to have to become an American lawyer.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
He doesn't know anything about Australian laws except you have to do what the police say.
Yeah. Well, maybe, Matt, because most Australians seem to think that the American laws affect them as well.
Yeah, they do.
I've got the right to free speech. You absolutely do not, my friend.
You don't.
I've seen some videos where
you and the Poms? Nah.
Poms and even Australians have tried to bring up the First Amendment, and the cops go, what's that got to do with here?
We don't even have a constitution, as far as I know.
Wrong country, mate.
Yeah, we do.
Country.
We do?
We have a constitution. I don't know what it is. I know Americans.
Do we have any amendments
I know
to it?
America's. I don't know Australia, so I probably should know that. But I know, like, America.
No, there's no reason for an average person walking down the street to know what the Constitution says. Like, these inalienable rights, that Americans feel that they have to continue reassuring each other about, are just the normal things that most people just take for granted, like, don't fucking kill anyone. But the thing is that in America, you're allowed to carry guns. So you have to be very specific about what you can and can't do with that gun.
No, I like, you've
Speaking
got... The other thing from Top Citizens, you've got the First Amendment auditors who are there going, I'm filming this because if we don't use this, we're going to lose the right to do this. They're actually getting laws changed around it about where they can and can't film, because they're not... filming police and all that, no issue with that. But the problem is they insert themselves into situations and go into places and annoy people. Because if you get interactions and altercations, you get more views.
Yeah.
But
yes, and in fact, there's quite a few of those on the Sov Sit videos that they put on where they're like saying to the cops, like, I'm filming you, and he's like, I'm filming you too, mate.
Yeah.
Chest cam and dash cam. Like,
We're starting to see a lot of places going, you can't come in here and film anymore because you're interfering with people actually just working now. Because you're not just there to film, you're there to antagonize.
Well, as somebody who used to work in the film and television industry, I can tell you that you're not allowed to film everywhere, and I've been removed from many, many places for filming where I shouldn't.
But were you press?
No. Not in those instances.
Because that's a big thing. That's where... Because in America... It's freedom of the press.
Not in America, Luke. Well, I am in America.
Yeah.
This is confusing. I am.
Freedom.
You're not.
But no,
hold on, this is on the internet.
Walk around.
Yeah.
A lot of people going into places, freedom of the press, and I'm filming this for a story I'm working on. The story has never ever appeared.
I forgot to grab a Prime before I came up.
Matt has Prime, and I found a place you can get Prime for $10 in Australia.
Yeah, see, to me, that's still quite a lot for a drink. That's not going to get me buzzed.
Yes.
I'll tell my nephew,
$10 a bottle. It is ridiculous, though, $10 a bottle for something that's non-alcoholic.
That is crazy. Yeah. Well, until I get to it.
Yeah.
But still, yeah.
Until you leave it out in the sun till it ferments.
Yeah.
So have you finished drinking your case of it yet?
No. I've still got quite a lot of it.
I can't imagine something you'd reach for too often.
I'll be honest, it's grown on me. Like, at first I was like... Because I don't like those drinks much anyway, because I got that salty thing going. I said this last week. It's a little bit, a little bit salty, a little bit too... It just tastes a bit weird to me. But it grew on me. So I've been having like... Generally I go down because I have Coke Zero down there that I've been drinking. And I'll open it up and I'll go, I'll have a Prime instead. So
It probably is healthier for you than the Coke.
Probably.
I wouldn't make that assumption.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, I actually do think it's not terribly bad. I think it is on the
marketed
healthier
as
side
being
than a
healthy,
soft drink.
Yeah.
I watched a video about it by More Plates, More Dates. It's a YouTuber. He's quite
Yes,
good. He does
I know
a lot of
him.
fitness. Yeah, he's good. But he did one about Prime in particular because they've been doing ads where Logan Paul compares it to competitors in like silly ways that don't actually make sense because it's just marketing. But anyway, he was talking about how like it's fine. It's not a sports drink, so don't like if you're comparing it to Gatorade, thinking it's a better sports drink. It's not. But as you're going to have a little nice drink to sip on. It's fine.
Something to refresh you.
There's worse things you could drink. Yeah.
Is that the slogan?
Yeah. Anyway, it tastes all right.
Now, Matt, you were about to shoot out a comment before.
Oh. Yeah.
You were about to pull the trigger on a scoop, weren't you?
On a segue.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was surprised when I saw this. I hadn't heard this, and I saw it in the spreadsheet when I pulled this up when we started. So can someone explain to me why they are going to complete Rust and release it with Alec Baldwin in it and everything?
And I actually didn't realize as well, Alec Baldwin is the lead. I guess I just assumed because he's kind of older now that he'd, probably play the old mentor character or something. But no, evidently he's the king chicken.
No, with him being the producer and stuff, I knew he'd be the lead.
Sure.
He still thinks he's a leading man. He's not a. He's not going to sit back.
We talked last week. He's being charged with involuntary manslaughter.
Yes.
So do we know? Does he have a say in this, or is this just something the studios decided without him? Because don't they need him to finish the movie if they're going to release it?
And surely, as a producer, he's got some say in it. Maybe he's pushing for it as well. Maybe he's trying to normalize the whole situation.
I don't understand what he's doing.
They can't have that scene. Surely they're going to have to rewrite that scene, even if they don't use that shot.
Wild.
Like,
if that was
the thing is, they were only blocking. It's not like they were even filming the scene.
They're just going to have to. Whoever he was shooting at. I mean, I don't mean. I mean, editorially speaking, they're going to have to change the plot so that no one shoots in this movie, right?
Baldwin will continue to play grandfather Harold Rust. The director's back.
Oh, so he's going to go back and finish it.
Director pulled the bullet out of her. Wow.
Yeah.
The film is still on track to be completed.
I mean, they completed The Crow.
They must have been close. They must have been close to finishing.
Or somebody's managed to make a good argument that, like, oh, in her honor, we should finish the movie or something weird like that, maybe, which might be true. Like, I guess I never knew this person. Maybe she would have been like, oh, I can't believe you didn't finish the movie just because I got shot. Like,
was that the ghost of her just talking just now?
Yeah, in an Australian accent.
Yeah.
Weird.
Finish the fucking movie, cunts.
Yeah.
Or it might even be hey, like, here's how we'll work it. We'll finish the movie,
fuckwits.
We'll get paid, and then whatever's left over, you can have.
Oh, could be that too. Could be paying off the...
Because the family's getting a payout no matter what.
Is it going to force the family to
Not in a bad way.
I'm
not saying the family's not entitled to something or anything like that, but money is going to change hands, and this might be their way of getting that money.
Yeah, because I suppose, and again, we've talked about this before, how none of us on this podcast really understand how bankruptcy works, but if all these people need payouts, and the company that owns the rights to this film declares bankruptcy, no one gets paid, right?
No one gets
paid.
Right.
Perhaps maybe the judge has said you have to make as much money as you can to pay off these debts.
It's the attorney saying that this is going to continue. It could be something there. But it just seems weird. Like, you got Warner Brothers and HBO, like, cancelling everything under the sun. Yeah. And then you got this movie where someone died on set, where you're going to charge on through, and this is coming out. It's not just
someone died, but it was like headline fucking news.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it was this bigger news when Brandon Lee got shot. I don't think as it was as bigger news. Like, this is like the most high profile one of these.
Did we really have the internet then, though?
No. But
not
still. Like, I mean, we knew about it.
We knew about it, and there was certainly
kind of a added a aura of mystique to the film almost.
Well, also there was a lot of misinformation as well about which scene it was, and the rumors that it was in the movie. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. In fact, everyone thought it was the scene where he jumps up on the table and they all shit. It's not that scene.
No, it's not that scene at all.
I still to this day thought that was the scene until you just said then.
Oh, really?
That was the rumor. There was that.
Yeah.
And also because there's a bit where he falls down and everyone kind of stands there for a minute, and then that.
And then the rumor was that he just died.
Yeah, that's everyone going, "What the fuck, Brandon? You okay, buddy?"
No,
but absolutely not.
It was part of the. It was in the script, and that was not the scene.
But yeah, that's all we had back then was rumors because there was no internet, so it was. I don't know how we really got our information back then.
Hey, speaking of which,
That's a good point.
Alex Proyas is skinny now. I don't know if anyone follows him on Instagram. I do.
No, I don't.
He's gone on a diet and he's lost all that weight. He looks fantastic.
Oh, good on him.
Yeah.
Has he made a good movie?
No, not since Dark City.
Maybe that'll follow.
Of course.
Yeah. Okay.
What he has made is a nice little studio in Marrickville. He's made one of those Mandalorian virtual studios.
Oh, nice.
So that's just a big screen, isn't it?
Yeah, essentially, it's an LED version of a rear projection. Yeah.
Well, Luke made one of those behind him.
Yeah, that's right. But then he moved. So is it still behind you?
No, I need to move it.
Is that in
Oh,
the
that's
corner?
in
this corner now. That's
in the
there.
corner, yeah.
It will come down back here. At the moment, I have my Disney quote behind me.
Yeah.
What does it say?
It says, "Here's some cash, Nazis. Now do away with them Jews."
The way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing.
Yeah, he's talking to Hitler, though.
What's
It's a
that
quote from Walt Disney.
Oh. Right.
Like, yeah, it's not from a Disney, it's from Walt Disney.
Yeah.
Well, but you say that, Luke, but a lot of people quote stuff all the time and go, "Oh yeah, he said that." And it's like, no, a character in a film he wrote said that. You can't quote a person saying that.
And did he write it?
It's like that thing at that plaque at Supernova that said, "With great power comes great responsibility." Spider-Man. And I was like, Spider-Man didn't say that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
that was said to Spider-Man. That's why he became Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean, maybe later on he was like, and then someone said to me, and then he said it, and they're like, "I'm going to quote you on that."
Yeah, I quote you on that. Yeah, like in in the US office when he's always got the quotes behind him. Where
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott.
Yeah, he always puts the quote, but then it's got him at the end. Yeah,
because he's now said it.
Yeah. It's a stupid joke, but it still makes me laugh.
Before we get off Hitler completely, I just I've got something that relates slightly that we might as well talk about now. I'm reading Sid Meier's autobiography currently, right?
Oh God, where's this going? Go on. Yep.
And it's very good. I'm enjoying it very much. You guys have read, is it Masters of Doom, Prophets of Doom? What's the...
Masters of Doom.
Masters
I've got
of Doom.
It behind me somewhere.
Yeah. You know how in that it's like just fucking guys staying up all night partying and writing code and pushing the boundaries? This is just a guy whose day job it is to go in and code video games. It's just...
Less interesting.
It's so... It's fun because I like him and I love his games, but there's no drama in this whatsoever. He's just coding for a living, and there's no late nights, there's no spa parties, there's no cold pizza,
no tantalizing.
Yeah,
details.
That's right. Yeah, no falling outs, and there's no dizzying highs and crippling lows.
See that from him?
No. But the most interesting part so far was him trying to decide whether or not you could play as Hitler in the first Civ.
Right.
Because...
Seems like he made the correct decision in the end.
So, but they went back and forth, and it was only in the last couple of weeks that because they had Germany, and you could play as Hitler, and everyone was like, I don't know about that. And he's like, well, you've got to play as the most famous leader of each country. That's just what it is across the board. And if it's not Hitler, people are going to go, oh, it's not Hitler. It's going to be conspicuously not Hitler. So for a while, they're just like, well, you just can't have Germany at all then because you can't have Hitler. So in the end, they went with, I don't know, Alexander II or one of the old kings.
Kaiser Wilhelm or something.
Yeah, well, somebody like that. But it made me laugh.
There's a book I have called Hackers that's quite good about the story of early 80s and 90s tech people, and one of the stories
not the movie.
It's not that. That movie is a fucking amazing movie, by the way, listeners.
It is pretty good. I will admit. It still
I watch it on my
holds up.
birthday every year. Hackers, but the book's different. But one of them is Ken Williams from Sierra. And if you want a raunchy video game startup story,
the
story of early Sierra is one of those.
Yeah.
Really?
They really did have a hot tub.
Yeah, a hot tub, just fucking taking LSD and doing shots and getting in the hot tub, and then
everyone
being like,
passing around Roberta Williams.
Yes, who that is her in the hot tub on the cover of
with her
Soft
tits
Porn
out.
Adventure.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's pretty.
Which
good,
is an awful
80s.
game, and it's practically unplayable.
It's just a text adventure.
It is a text adventure, but a lot of the ideas from it actually ended up in the first Leisure Suit Larry years later,
which is a good game.
Yeah,
Yes.
but also fairly
It's actually
unplayable
not.
now. Yeah,
It is. It still makes me laugh.
Yeah, same.
I think the reason why I've got fond memories of it is just because I used to play that when I was young, and it's just even just getting past the questions to be able to play
it
the
took
game.
so long to even start playing it.
Yep.
You could walk into the street and get run over immediately.
Yeah.
And then if you try to take the toilet paper off your shoe, no, you can't do that yet.
You could get AIDS if you banged a prostitute without a condom.
Which I think was a pretty good message to be sending back.
But
then.
I also love the whole plot of the game is you're supposed to find love, and you think that means have sex until you bang a whore, and then it fakes like that's the end of the game, and then it's like, wait a minute, I'm not in love with her. So you got to keep looking.
What a great game.
Ken Williams.
Did they do a... it was Al Jaffe, that one, wasn't it? As well? Oh, no, Al Lowe. Not Al Jaffe.
Oh, yeah.
Who the fuck's Al Jaffe? Al Lowe. Who's Al Jaffe? Now I got to look up who that is. Al Jaffe is a cartoonist. It's Al Lowe I'm thinking of.
I think Al Lowe was also softcore adventure, right? Which is
could be.
Probably why they could
When
use...
you look up Al Lowe, it lists him primarily as a musician.
Huh.
Which, all right, that's interesting. Didn't know that. Speaking of old games, there's some old game become new again news, right?
This has been a rumour that's been hanging around forever, but it's finally happening.
Well, it's happened. It's here.
I was fucking playing it all night, mate. If you're talking about GoldenEye.
Well, I'm waiting for next week.
Xbox.
When it comes out on the Xbox.
It's on Game Pass right now, isn't it?
No.
Are you kidding me? I thought it was.
I'll check right now. No, I think
I just heard his Xbox turn on. How did he do that?
All I know is that I had to sign up for the N64.
Neuralink to his Xbox.
They've also made it so you can't just buy fucking GoldenEye on the Switch. But I don't know if we said GoldenEye's on the Switch.
Yeah. They've re-released the 007 GoldenEye game from the N64.
yes.
With updated graphics. I watched a YouTube video
It's not that
of a clip
upgraded.
of it, and I was like, that's not what it looked like. I mean, that looks much better, but I can make out what's going on that screen.
Well, here's the thing, though. It's that this is what I remember it looking like.
Sure.
Because I remember it looking quite good back in the late 90s.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, the controls are fucking awful because it matches the N64 controller, and there's no easy way to switch it to modern controllers. So remember that they had that one joystick that moved both camera movement and player movement, and the trigger was on the left-hand side. Now, you can, with a fair bit of manual reconfiguring, you can get a decent config out of this, which I have done.
Why wouldn't they do that?
I know.
Sorry, I was wrong. It is available now. I'm installing it right now.
Yeah, I thought it was.
For some reason in my head, I thought it was next week.
Well, I also worried that
goes
we'd
to
be a
shit
day
whenever.
behind because it said 27th, and I thought, that'll be American 27th, so it'll be 28th, 29th here. Nope. But
It's also weird.
you can't
it says
just
I own this.
You can't just get the game. You have to subscribe to the N64 club on Switch.
Or you can just get
Wait,
it
I
on
already
Game
have
Pass
that.
on the Xbox.
Well, then you have it.
So
Matt.
I already have it, do I?
Yeah.
I've got my Switch right here, actually. I should have a look. I won't do that. I'm not Luke. I'll wait until after the show.
It's like 300 meg. It's
You
installed
got the
already.
red Switch, Mal. You got the white Switch.
Well, these are imported Japanese Joy-Cons that I got.
Oh, hello.
I like the red color.
It's installed. It's fine. No one noticed anything.
It's not a big game.
I
yet.
noticed.
Sorry, Luke, you're breaking up.
It,
Luke, you're breaking up. Matt,
Yeah, right.
you're
So
breaking
it's
up
good,
as
though.
well.
So you've been playing it. It's good, yeah?
Yeah, once I put the controls back on, it's
Oh,
excellent.
shit, it is free.
It's not free. You pay for it already.
Yeah.
But
I wasn't, so I had to pay for it. It's $50 a year. I had some points.
But you already had Game Pass. So.
Oh, yeah, but I'm not going to sit here and play. I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to boot up my Xbox just to play GoldenEye, but I will sit in bed and play a bit at night. I'll say this, though. Playing GoldenEye for 40 minutes made me want to watch GoldenEye. And so after playing it for a bit, I popped GoldenEye on. Still one of probably the top 5 Bond movies ever, I reckon.
Good opening.
But one of the best openings, for sure. Fuck me, the music is awful.
Oh, really?
Oh, awful. Awful. 90s techno, like...
Oh.
It's Eric Serra, who I've liked stuff he's done. He also did
The Professional.
Yeah. Reuses quite a little bit of riffs from that, actually.
I'll tell you, one thing I'm quite interested to see, because I remember, like, the N64 version, I could play through the entire game on Expert and quite quickly. Like, that first level I could finish in, like, 15 seconds, or, like... Maybe not 15 seconds, but very quickly.
Yeah.
I wonder if I can still do that, because it was muscle memory.
Mate, I reckon you probably can, because I put Rick Dangerous on, right, which I used to play on like the Atari ST, and I could still get through that first, like even little bits where you like falling down that first shaft and you have to kind of lean to the right because otherwise you'll fall on spikes. Like for some reason your fingers remember that.
Remember all that.
The only thing I'm worried about is because it is that different controller scheme now. Like, that's the thing that I think is going to throw me off.
See, I never had the N64. This is a game I only played at other people's houses, so I don't have that with this.
I think the one thing that is going to be missing from this is playing multiplayer.
Well, you can.
Because this is a lot of people's first memory of multiplayer.
Well, you got to get it on the Switch then.
I probably do. Is it on that Family Pass thing? Because I do have that. It's Nintendo Club membership thing.
No, there's that, and then there's like an upgrade to that where you have to pay extra to get the N64 games, which I forget why I bought that, but I do have it.
Looking through, there's not a lot of other N64 games I would want to play.
I think I bought it either before we went to Australia or when we were going to Australia, because there was something in there that I was like, I want to play that on the plane, and probably didn't because Monkey Island came out.
Yeah.
And I exclusively played that.
Actually, you know what was a good Nintendo 64 game? Was Doom 64. That was an excellent version of Doom. It wasn't a port, it was just like its own game.
Yeah. Well, because Mario 64 is great, but I have that on the 3D Mario.
Yes, exactly. Mario Kart was, on 64 was great.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Wipeout 2096. If they brought that out, I'd probably have a go. But then again, I could play that on my Retroid Pocket right now anyway.
I started playing a new game today.
Go on.
Yes.
Hypershapes. I thought it was going to be a bit like a Geometry Wars.
Okay. That's what it sounds like.
But it's what it sounds like. It's what it looks like as well. But it's not. So you control this little square, and you also control this little ball. So the square is you. If you get hit, you die. You fire this little ball, and you've got to take out bosses. It's actually making me focus again. It's weird. Because it's not a hard game.
When you say bosses, what does that mean?
So, like, each level is sort of like you got to work out a way to beat the circle, beat the boss, and each of them will have like different abilities. And it's as I said, it's not hard, but I need to focus.
Sure.
Because if you don't pay attention for a second, then you'll die instantly.
Sounds like Elden Ring.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I'll never play that. But no, this I'm actually enjoying.
Well, I'm enjoying Elden Ring.
Yeah, no, it's weird. It's nice to be focusing again.
Yeah.
Luke,
I know what you mean.
Yeah, no, because I'm sitting there playing it and I'm going, no, I can't watch a television show while playing it. I have to focus.
Sure.
Which is
Luke's finally found a game that can hold his attention, and it's a game where you play as a square fighting against a circle.
Well, I think the good thing about it is the achievements they're not just play the game, finish it. Like, the achievements aren't hard, but I want them all.
Did you ever play Thomas Was Alone?
Yes. Oh, sure.
That's very interesting, where you play as a square, but it's like it's pretending that you don't know what a platformer game is by you discover what one is as you play it. Oh, I can jump. Oh, I can jump across here. Oh, I can. If I need to go up higher, I have to double jump. Like, it's really quite interesting.
I wish this held your hand a little bit more, because it is a very much you need to work out how to beat the boss. beat the enemy, because each of them is different every time.
Oh, speaking of enemies, watching GoldenEye last night, I realised something. It's okay to fight the Russians again. Because in this, James Bond murders quite a lot of Russian people. Like, just fucking kills them.
And that's right, we don't like Russia at the moment,
That's
do we?
right, yeah, because when this came out, just after the Cold War, we still weren't sure about the Russians, and then they were our palsy-wowsies for a while, and now we hate them again.
Yeah, but I like to think these days where we know probably not all the Russians should be shot on sight.
No.
Right?
Not all of them,
Not all
I guess,
of them.
no.
I'm not sure people knew that back in the day, you know?
Yeah, fair enough. Mind you, something else that happens in... we always talk about how James Bond is essentially a rapist, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
In this one, he's sexually harassing Moneypenny. And Moneypenny says, this is sexual harassment. She actually says that to him. And his response is to lean in real close and go, and what's the penalty for sexual harassment? So...
You getting fired? Going to jail?
No, unfortunately.
No, the joke's on her because it was the 90s. The penalty was nothing.
That's right. Well, she undoes it all by going, you might have to finally come through on your innuendos.
And then she gets fired.
Yeah, and raped.
I've been watching a TV show this week that I don't know, I was like, at first, but I'm actually gotten super into it. It's called Welcome to Wrexham.
Okay.
You guys know what that is?
No.
That is Ryan
wait.
Reynolds and...
Rob
it's
McElhenney.
McElhenney.
Yes. About them buying a football club. I watched the first
Correct.
episode of that and it was interesting.
It's super interesting.
Is it? It's reality? It's not scripted, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So it's about basically, seems like Rob and his one of the writers, this guy Humphrey, who writes for Mythic Quest, I think. He's a British guy and he's super into football, and he gets Rob watching it, and then for some reason, Rob finds out or gets it into his head that he could buy this Welsh football club,
Right. And they're like bottom of the divisions. And...
Yeah, exactly. They're doing terribly. And then he goes, there's a bit where he's saying, he said to his wife, Caitlin Olsen, he's like, do you reckon I could get Ryan Reynolds to go in on this? And she's
they've
like,
never met before this.
they've only spoken on the internet. And she's like, is this just some weird plan to become friends with Ryan Reynolds? What is this?
Well, it worked.
It did work. They're like...
Does Ryan Reynolds like soccer?
He didn't.
Right.
He gets into it, though.
Who do they go for? Or they go for Wrexham?
They go for Wrexham now.
Their team, yeah.
So they have to turn this team around so it's like...
Yep.
Doing well. So this is Ted Lasso, but the reality show.
They've already gone up a division now, I think, haven't they?
So I don't know about that. I've got one episode to go in the season, and they haven't. They haven't gone up or they're doing significantly better. But
yeah,
it's particularly interesting because they buy this club, and the club is like, you get to learn how much the community, because it's like a kind of a, I guess not like low socioeconomic. It used to be like a bustling city, like industrial city, and now not, like a lot of the world. The bottom fell out on a lot of that stuff. And so there's just all these people who all they have, or not all they have, that sounds condescending, but they just love this soccer team.
Right.
Like it's like...
So when they're doing terrible, the town sort of down.
Yeah, the whole
itself.
town just gathers and becomes, one to support this soccer team and stuff. And then so Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney come in, and at first they're like, "The fuck is this?" Like,
and it's not like they just come in and go, "Hey, we're buying this and that's done." It's all like, no,
they have community votes.
They had to vote on it. So the people who are members get to go, "Do we want these guys to come in and take over it?" And it's sort of. Because they've had other people come in and just run it even further into the ground.
Yep.
And then you've got these two Hollywood guys from America coming in, like...
They basically interview them, and they're like, why do you want to buy a Welsh football club? What the fuck is this?
What's it to you?
Yeah.
Is there an episode where they have to stream an episode of Always Sunny for the town to see...
There's so many jokes where it's like, it's Ryan Reynolds and that other guy. And so many jokes like that.
But I think he even used Always Sunny to do an ad for it, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they do this. Yeah, and then they're doing TikToks together and stuff like that. But yeah, there's some good funny stuff. Like, they become good friends, and there's some funny bits too. Like, it got called out later, but there's a bit where the team scores a goal at a game they're at, and then Caitlin Olsen stands up to give Rob a hug, And Rob looks at her, turns around and hugs Ryan Reynolds. And then they're like going, yeah, yeah. And then, I know, it's good. They're funny together.
Oh, they're both funny guys.
And I guess strangely, because my family always was into football because, Poms and whatnot. And my brother played, but I never cared about it. But it is interesting. Like, I guess they point out
it's
the interesting
stuff. It's a shame the actual game of soccer isn't interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, they're only showing you the good bits, I guess.
Yeah.
But the whole fact that you can literally get promoted up through divisions, like you just get kicked out of the Premier League, basically, and then, that's what happened to the Wrexham. I think they were up Premier League at one point, and then now they just got kicked all the way down to the bottom, and they don't get any money.
You lose all the money.
They don't get anything. Their main sponsor. That's why it's just so funny watching. The main sponsor at the start is like some tractor company or trailer company. That's a local company, and then. Rob and Ryan buy it, and then it's like fucking TikTok is the sponsor, and they just have all this money, and it's like, all right.
But I do agree. It's not making the sport interesting to me.
Man, no, I remember one year I don't
understand
everyone
soccer.
was talking about the World Cup. I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to watch the World Cup, and I watched, and there was this game, and it went for like 2 hours, and at the end of that 2 hours, the score was 1-0. One goal scored in 2 hours. I was like, why?
And that would have been a good game.
This?
The thing they say in this, and it's probably true, right? These guys are now heavily invested in the success of this club. And when you only get like when it's 1-0, right, and you have a lot of close calls, I can see how that might be fairly heart racing. Like, they go in to get a goal, and then the goalie saved it, and then it's not a high scoring game, but like those close calls. Probably pretty exciting if you give a shit.
Yeah.
About...
Yeah.
But you have to watch.
Giving
those close calls aren't happening every minute, though. And that's my problem.
Yeah.
But I might finish watching
It sounds all right. Yeah,
I didn't.
Probably...
No, it's good. It's really funny. Yeah. Like, even if you don't like the sport, they're funny. And, I mean, I'm a big Rob McElhenney fan, so I think he's...
I'm a big Ryan Reynolds fan.
Yeah.
Oh, well, who am I going to... I mean, I suppose I like Caitlin
Humphrey's
Olsen,
pretty
so
cool.
I can watch her.
Yeah, she's not in it very much.
I watched something as well. I watched something this week. I listened to last week's show. Dan's back, by the way. I'm back.
Oh. Is he?
Listened to last week's show. Great show, guys. I did hear both of you trying to convince yourselves to watch The Last of Us. Weren't really sure. Yeah. Both of you said you thought it sounded good. People are saying it's good.
I wasn't successful. I haven't watched it.
Well, I watched it, so you don't have to.
All right. And? Oh, and I don't have to. So,
that's fine.
All right.
It's fine. It's fine, I guess. I watched.
I think it's just something, if you've played the game, it's probably good to see sort of a live action version, but without that connection, I have no interest in it.
Man, I tell you, if you've watched...
For zombies, not zombies.
Have you seen 28 Days
Zombies
Later?
are tripping over themselves to tell
you.
They are
zombies. They are 100% zombies in this.
No,
and
fungus. Fungus, Dan.
Fungus zombies. Yep. It's like they went into 28 Days Later and took the zombies from that, which are also not zombies, so I'm doing the quotes, and you put them in this. And the scenario was also a little bit like Dawn of the Dead, and it was a little bit like the first season of The Walking Dead. Then you've seen this, and this doesn't do anything better or worse than those. Things. Yeah, it's just the same. It's just another... If what you were doing is sitting around going, I've literally watched every zombie movie, and I want exactly that again, but instead of just rewatching something, I just want somebody else doing the exact same thing, then that's what this is.
So what I've heard about the games is there's good character stuff in it.
Maybe.
Which... Yeah, I have no idea, I guess. That's what I've heard.
In this, there's a smart-mouthing teenage girl who does, gives people the middle finger and stuff. And
oh, really?
I don't know, if you think that's good characterization, then maybe you'd like this.
Evidently, it is basically, it's following the game. It's not like they're doing the other television shows where they change the story. This is, what you're seeing is the game.
I'll tell you, there's another show that's got a teenage girl who gives people the finger, and that's Wednesday.
Gave that a look.
Is the girl in The Last of Us as hot as Jenna Ortega?
I think she's they're trying to be aggressively unattractive with this kid. I think their whole moral of this is
so it's the opposite of
you
Wednesday.
Shouldn't find any kids attractive.
Where they just Wednesday they were just like, let's find the most attractive people and make a show with them.
Which true. I think is fair because she is meant to be 14 or something. She's a young girl.
Wednesday or this girl? Both,
This
I
girl.
suppose. Yes, no, they're both just children. I watched a bit of Wednesday because Hui's watching it and it was on. And
I'm pretty sure
honest,
Wednesday is supposed to be 18.
Yeah.
Just putting that out.
she's in high school, isn't she?
Yeah, I think they mentioned it at one point.
By the way, she's legal.
Let me check my notes.
Yeah, it was cute. I'm not going to watch it though. I don't. Honest to God, I just can't. I can't watch shows about people in their teens and early 20s anymore. I find them insufferable.
Even when there's Tim Burton and monsters.
Well, here's the thing, and this is a very good Tim Burton effort. I think it's probably his best in years. I think you said the same thing. It's also. I mean, it's got all the requisite Tim Burton tropes, but also it's actually a little bit more real world than I was expecting, which goes actually back to the old Tim Burton, where the weird characters were all Tim Burton-y, but there were a lot of normies as well.
Sure.
You know, like in Edward Scissorhands, a lot of people are just stock standard people, and he's the only goth, right? This is kind of the same. I mean, it's a little bit inconsistent, you know, like it's like a school for weirdos. And she's supposed to like weirdos, except she's the weirdo there. And
she's the weirdest of the weirdos.
Except she's not a literal monster like some of them.
No.
She pretends to hate everything, but she goes out of her way to help everyone and save the school. I find it a little bit tonally inconsistent in that
and
way.
She's
but then
very
again,
much... I know they make the joke of... This is a on-the-nose thing to say these days, but she's a Mary Sue. Like the definition of a Mary Sue.
For sure.
Well, she's just the best at all the things that need to be done.
Yeah,
she'll
that's
do
right.
it better.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. And I find it... I mean, I know that her character is supposed to be like, you know, Little Miss Grumpy, but I find they lean into her just having something smart-ass to say every single line just a little bit too much.
Well, she's not meant to be just grumpy. She's meant to be disinterested. I think.
Oh, well, I mean, she certainly
Which
seems...
is still the same. She's still... Those quips back every single time isn't someone who's...
Yeah.
Sometimes I just wanted to talk to someone.
She's always smarter than the person.
Yeah.
She's always, quicker and more sarcastic.
Knows a little more about what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she gets some stuff wrong,
Okay.
I guess, but not.
So, yeah, a good effort, but not interested. And I'll say that about both.
So you watched The Last of Us over Wednesday, though?
Yeah.
Well, you watched the rest of it. How many
The Rest of
episodes
Us.
are out?
The 2 are out.
The rest of it.
2 are out, and I watched one of the 2.
Right.
I'm not going to watch more.
Okay. Oh, you're not?
No, probably not.
Okay.
Mate, I still haven't finished Witcher. Like, I've got other stuff to watch before I watch this.
That's a good
Yeah,
show.
I sort of dropped off The Witcher as well.
I'm not going to watch
Now
The
we get
Witcher.
one...
While we're
We
just
get one
throwing
more
out
season
stuff...
with Cavill, don't we? Or is he already
season
gone?
3, yeah.
Well, yeah.
I'll watch it.
While we're just throwing out stuff to just not watch, you can cross The Fabelmans off your list, guys.
Really?
Fuck me, this movie was bad. This was bad. This is Steven Spielberg making...
That wasn't on my list.
making
About
a movie
himself,
about
right?
himself. And here's the thing. There's this kind of mythology about Spielberg, this kind of how he was this wunderkind who was always into movies and then, you know, kind of... And if this movie was him going, well, there's another side to that story, here's what really happened, then maybe I'd be interested, but it's not. It's him going, it's all true, I was amazing. And it's just him being the best, and everyone's going, you've really got something, Stephen. Like, it's so... it's just so on the nose. It's interesting to see him make the little films, which is about 15, 20 minutes total out of the 3 hours that this movie is. The rest of it is just this uncomfortable, Oedipal storyline about him and his mum just cuddling and her saying, you're wonderful. And it's just, it made me uncomfortable. It made me uncomfortable.
But it got all the stars and rave reviews.
Yeah, all the Oscar noms as well.
Spielberg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spielberg is
John
not
Williams.
that great, people.
I tried to remember the last Steven Spielberg movie I really liked, and don't get me wrong, I'm not turning around on this. I still think that Raiders, Jurassic,
Ready Player One?
Jaws, it certainly wasn't Ready Player One. He hasn't made a good movie in a long time.
None of those old school best directors have. Ridley Scott.
No.
Like, God,
because they've lost
so
touch.
depressing. It's depressing.
Yeah.
And that's what. They turn around and blame everyone else for.
Apparently, James Cameron has, according to the rest of the world. Avatar's doing great.
But no. But here's the thing: no one's saying it's good. It's just making a lot of money, and that's what's happened every time.
It's like last time.
Exactly.
Yeah, everyone's saying, "Oh yeah, no, it's fine."
Yeah.
I've seen it 5 times, and it was fine.
Yeah,
it's better than the first one.
Yeah, high praise.
What's that old idiom about growing old enough to see your heroes start to fail?
Oh, I can only think of the one from The Dark Knight. Either live long enough to die. What is it?
You either live long enough to die or die long enough to live.
Either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain, or something like that, or live long enough to become the villain. Is that from The Dark Knight?
Yeah.
Dark Knight.
Yeah. I don't know. You're tthinking of I'm not the hero Gotham wants, but I am the male prostitute that you need right now.
Prostitution is illegal.
$40 billion.
The inside joke no one will get.
The bank foreclosed on Wayne Manor.
On
what?
I mean the Batcave.
Okay, well, how much would it be? Is that still online? Did we put that up?
That was never online.
I don't know about that. Yeah.
That never made it online. That's what I'm saying. It's the inside joke no one will get.
Yeah. Sorry, listeners. Look, speaking of Mary Sue's, Rey from Star Wars.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sorry, listeners, I'm joking.
He's not joking.
That's what everybody... Yeah, that was a common complaint directed at that character. And then also, when it was revealed that she was a Palpatine, that annoyed people.
And then she became a Skywalker.
Yes.
No, she didn't. Not in any of the ones I've seen.
So there was a lot of talk that J.J. Abrams was setting up something. Rian Johnson said, fuck you, I'm doing what I want. And said, she's nobody, just to mess with the fans.
Yep.
And then J.J. Abrams went back to what he was originally going to do. Daisy Ridley's come out this week in an interview and said, well, actually, she was always going to be nobody. That was J.J. Abrams' plan too. Until The Last Jedi came out and everyone got so fucking mad about it that he was like, well, I guess we'll do something else then. Yeah.
See, that's irritating.
And I can blame Rian Johnson.
That is irritating for 2 reasons. Number one is because that was the best part of that movie.
I know. I feel like did they just miss what people were annoyed about? Or is it just that we weren't mad about the same stuff?
Because here's the thing. There's so much garbage in that movie. Like, don't get me wrong.
That was the good bit.
But that was the good bit. And also, it was so bad that in order to follow it up, they made a worse movie.
Yeah.
But no, look, I'm going back to even just Force Awakens when... Because to me, they were leading to her being someone. Because remember,
were
like in the first one,
every
time it's who's the girl, it cuts.
Yeah.
And so that's...
But that doesn't mean there's an answer. I know what you're saying.
Not to the family specifically, yes. Correct.
Not the family way, but that there was something there. Like I just built up, and then it turned into.
I know what you're saying,
but in force sensitivity, and I don't, but because the first movie says anyone can learn it, but she seems to already be able to kind of use the force a little bit.
Yeah.
Right? So she clearly...
But I know what you're saying, but like they never said that she was anybody. In fact, that you never saw anybody say anything. They just said, "Who's that?" kind of thing. Like, who's the girl? And I know what you mean. They made a point. They made a point of showing people, asking who she was. But then what she's saying is, she said the answer was always going to be nobody, and that was the joke in a way. And then that upset people too much.
So, but turning her into a Palpatine did not fix that.
No, that was...
And then turning her into a Skywalker didn't fix that either.
Somehow,
I still have not seen that movie again
back.
since.
I can't believe that's how they explain it.
I know. Even in the movie, he's like
Oscar Isaacs.
unconvincingly gone. Oh,
yeah. Imagine being on set and being like, that's the line?
Yeah.
You want me to say somehow
and
Palpatine
when he
has
says
come
it
back to life.
sarcastically, it looked like off camera at the director going, do you need me to say it again like convincingly like the character or the actor believes it? And he's like, nah, we'll leave it at that. No one's going to buy it anyway.
I do want to... I did buy the audiobook of it because I do want to try and get a bit more of an understanding. Because sometimes the books will go into a bit about like how he came back and stuff like that. And also where that army came from as well. And...
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where it came from, Luke. It came just at the right time.
I wouldn't worry about it too much, Luke.
No.
I think you're going to get
Luke,
I
I
think
think all these Star Destroyers.
I tried to watch it a second time, and I turned it off when they went to Burning Man. I was like, I'm not doing this. This is awful.
Oh, God.
Why are all these Fraggle Rock characters doing a choreographed dance?
They fly now. You're a stormtrooper. You would know this.
No, they didn't do it before. They do it now.
They do it now, yeah.
He's not a stormtrooper now.
Why did I leave
Stormtrooper
before
then.
they got those cool things?
Maybe I'd still be shooting at you guys if I had one of those.
Yeah.
I remember when they got the knife that miraculously is the same shape as
Oh, yeah, as a crashed fucking...
wreckage
Yeah.
of like
Yeah.
who wrote that garbage?
Yeah.
J.J. Abrams did, apparently.
Well, because he'd seen the Goonies where they did it better. Where an old doubloon was the shape of a lighthouse that would have been there in doubloon days.
That would have been the same shape, like not a piece of wreckage that would
Disney,
have
this is
degraded
a
over
serious
time.
request. Disney, just get rid of those movies again.
How many
Like you
chances
did with
do
the
they
extended
get?
universe. Just go,
Yeah.
no, and then give it to me.
Oh, yeah,
I will
agree with
fix
that.
Star
I'll
Wars
see
for
what
you.
Luke has.
Yeah.
Luke, would you do it? Because I know we joke all the time that you would do it, but I don't even think I'd do it at this point. It's
I'd
been
do
my
it.
dream to
And it's-
always do it, and I reckon the hatred you
Direct a
would get.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
No, do it in a second. Can't screw it up any more than they already did.
Oh, the internet will
fix
find
it.
a way to hate you more. I guarantee it.
I don't care about the internet. Bring it on. I will fix Star Wars.
I would love to see Luke just fucking thrown in the deep end. You are now directing
Yes.
a Star Wars movie. And then they're like, are you going to sign off on this budget? Be like that scene in the Last Jedi documentary where they hand Ryan Johnson the budget. He's got to sign off on it.
Yeah.
Except they'd hand Luke the paper and he'd be like, fucking
What is
whatever, I
this?
don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what that says.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so Luke, CGI or puppets?
Puppets.
Okay. See, that made a difference when we'd seen the prequels and we thought, you know what was wrong with the prequels? The fact that they used CGI instead of puppets. And then we saw Luke milk a big puppet's tits and we went, oh, it wasn't the puppets. Puppets
turns
can
out-
be
turns
bad
out-
too.
Turns out the CGI can be used not stupidly.
Yeah, and that puppets can be fucking ridiculous.
Well, I'm not going to have Luke milking anything. Like that's.
I reckon
Are you just gonna-
across the board, no one milks anything.
Is this going to be a co-directing effort from you and Timothy Zahn? Are you going to bring Timothy
Oh,
Zahn back?
wow.
Well, yeah, because they're going to bring his characters back. So yes, he should.
Are
be
you
there.
just going to make the Thrawn trilogy?
He's just going to
Is that what
he's
you're
going to
gonna
make Heir to the Empire.
I can't make Heir to the Empire. Luke's too old. Mark's too old.
You could use
Recast it?
Sebastian
Unless I
Stan.
recast.
Sebastian Stan as a slightly
yeah,
younger Luke.
I could do
Just-
that.
You've got two strapping young men right in front of you.
I'm
do
strapping a young man right now.
Yeah.
Because look, I think that will work better than what they gave us.
All right.
Have Mara Jade get rid of. Oh, look, they missed. The biggest thing that they still missed with that was still at the end of it having the light and dark side. What they should have done was there's no light and dark. There's just the Force. People are good or bad. There's no these two extremes anymore. You go
Yeah,
to
they
the Grey
really
Jedi.
leaned into one line about bring balance to the Force, didn't they? I think
And
when
bring
they
balance-
originally wrote that, it meant just stop being a cunt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like you don't. It's not.
But all of that
ultimate
rule
good or
of
ultimate
two and
evil.
all of that, there can always be a master and apprentice. It's like, no, that wasn't law. That was just the listeners. The listeners don't want to hear us tear the fucking prequels apart again.
Much like a fruit fetishist, Sith always come in pairs.
Mr. Prime opportunity to fuck some fruit.
Sorry. Oh, that was good. That was real good.
That's why he's tickling Ray with that leaf. He was like, is she into this?
Yeah.
We should probably be heading over to After Party soon, shouldn't we?
We got a whole lot of cancelled news this week. A lot of people up for
Have we?
cancellation. Yeah. If you want to
I
head over
wanted
to
to
the
lead
after
off with
party,
the first
I'm
follow-up
happy to
story.
I'm happy to just rattle
Dan,
off.
how do we get there?
Well, you go to patreon.com/multiple nerdgasm, sign up for the $10 a month tier, and you don't have to finish when the rest of us finish. Grow up.
Take your time with that pair.
You could finish with Ron Jeremy.
Ugh.
Like everyone's trying to think of a joke to end on. It's like it's just too disgusting.
I know, and I'm like, hang on. Yeah, there's been too much.
That's all for this week. Thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoyed the show. If you enjoyed it, then please subscribe in iTunes to receive episodes automatically. We'll see you next time.